Unfortunately, I'm not worried. I'm concerned, but I'm not worried. But unfortunately, we are not going to stop talking about it. Again, as Achenu Achebe would say, when the hunter learns to shoot without missing, the birds learn to fly without pitching. So the whole thinking of the criminal is how to beat the system. So as you design the system, we are constantly innovating. So for us as industry, we also need to be ahead of those innovations. So we need to have the mindset of these criminals and then be able to find ways in which we're dealing with that. There's the people, there's the process, and there's the technology one. In terms of the technology, we're constantly investing in that to make sure that the process, the systems that we put in place are very robust. The processes constantly are being tested and all of that. Our major challenge is our people. As the you know, as Ghanaians, we are very welcoming. We are very accommodating, and we have taken that from the analog world, and we've taken that into the digital world. So you find out that people will easily give out information that they're not supposed to give out to complete strangers, and so we just have to keep on educating our people, making sure that we can take the message, down and down to till everybody gets it, and constantly reminding, our people, because these people would always be looking at when they deal with one, they will move on to the second one. The pain, and so where I agree with the worry of it is that some of the basic things are still being a hindrance to us. The situations of two major ones, the issues of lack of knowledge. So how do we ensure that we're building the knowledge capacity of our people? That's something that we need to do. And then critically, it's also the issue of greed. Where we know that we have not sown in this particular area, but still we want to, harvest in there. And then you find out that the people will take advantage of us. So, and the media are going to really be a critical part of really getting this done. Our audience, your audiences, our customers are the same, and we all need to find ways in which we get the message to them as much as we can. So I think that for every institution, once you have humans in there, it's the reason why in our local dialect they will tell you that if you are meant sound, so you cannot, because you're not dealing with angels. So you find out that in the media, that journalists who are part of, some journalists, but it does not mean most of the journalists are that. And so you heard one of the mobile money agents talk about some of the things that they are putting in place to ensure that they are able to, at least there are numbers that you can identify who does what and be able to report that. So it's something that we're looking at in terms of our partnership with the agents, and also the fraud control dashboard that we put in place. Once the information comes up and we pick it up and all of that, we then are also able to see it. And then so our philosophy is that it does not matter whose ass is bored. If it is Ken Ashiegbe who is at fault, we should be dealt with. If it is you who are, so we should deal with everybody. And our fight against fraud, scams, and identity theft should be agnostic. Whether it's a pastor doing it, it's an imam doing it, it's a politician doing it, an engineer, a staff. That is the attitude we have. So for our members, that is very robust to the extent that if you are found, there's no vicarious responsibility there. The responsibility lies with the criminal amongst us, and that's why I agree with my colleague from the mobile money agency. When you see, though, it's not an agent. That person is a fraudster. He's a fraudster through and through. It's not about him being an. He's not. Once you cross that line, you are no more an agent. You are no more a worker. You are no more a chamber person. You are a criminal, and you should be dealt with like that.
This is outside the very story.
This industry is in really dire straits. So, and so it's that myth about the telecommunication sector being the cash cow that has to be milked. If it was really a cash cow, would a shareholder offer that at $1? It would not happen. Already, the merger that happened between Airtel and Tigo, two people who are in the same competitive strategic group, competing fiercely combined, it tells you the fact that the margins are really depressed. So they came together so as to minimize their cost and maximize their returns and their margin. But that even did not work. So the industry is in really dire straits, and it is important that all of us as stakeholders, we work to reduce the cost of doing business within the telecommunication industry. Also, be mindful of some of the front loading that we put in there, because we need this to be able to, accelerate our development. And well, that's what it has become. And we're happy that government, took it over so that at least they were able to secure the jobs, the customers that are there. We hope that there's a plan in place to be able to transition that. As has been seen, this industry, the telecommunication industry, requires a lot of investment. I'm not too sure that government has the physical space, to be able to run this the way it ought to run, because government has other things that it needs to focus on. I hope that they'll be able to prepare it and be able to make sure it transists in such a way that the way government has secured the jobs, the customers, and all of that continues.
So what does that mean?
With what has happened between the old shareholder and government, I'm not too sure anything has changed, because if you notice, the management structures is the same. Things are running. Customers are still able to make their calls. Their data services, are moving and all of that. So I'm not too sure that, but how long that can stay is what I'm hoping that government is sensitive about, and they'll put processes in place to make sure that there's a transition to a permanent person that was going to run. But I think government should be commended that when all of this happened, they were able to step in at the time they did, and Airtel has still been running till now.
I'm sure you know about.
The mobile money, the model that we run in Ghana is really being shown to be superior. This is a model that is, predicated on the banking system. In other markets, the suspicion amongst other industries is the thing that has prevented MTN from for example, what do you call it, Nigeria from embracing it. And it's one of the things that you need to commend Ghana for, to the extent that we're able to do mobile money interoperability with the banks. It just showed you the level of trust and the fact that we have understood that this is an ecosystem, that it's about collaboration even amongst people who perceive themselves as competitors. And I think Nigeria has a big market. It would help. And the way for us in Ghana we should be happy about is that once that happens and we have the African Free Trade Agreement coming into place, and you have mobile money, you want to move to the point where we are able to seamlessly integrate our mobile money across borders, so that in terms of payments for goods and services, we'll be able to do that. And I'm also hoping that in the process, the way the relationship between Ghana and Nigeria, it just then extends the market for mobile money between Ghana and Nigeria. And we also, as Ghanaians, will be able to take advantage of that and be able to do a lot more businesses among ourselves. These borders that have been drawn by our colonial masters in the past, we should be finding ways of cleaning them. And one of the ways of doing that is doing business among ourselves. One of the way of doing business among ourselves, the payment systems, technology that can go together. I think that's definitely a good thing.